You know, it's okay to disagree with people, and I understand that people are going to have different viewpoints on things, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just life. Not everybody is the same. But when it comes to basketball, not going to lie to you, I just feel like there are certain things that we should all be able to come to an agreement on because it's damn near common knowledge. And as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, I'm talking about some Jokic disrespect because I feel like there are certain things about Jokic that should be common knowledge at this point. But nah, people are just acting like Jokic is just not on this certain level of a tier of a player. And we see how he gets treated by not only fans, but the media not acknowledging him at times. I get he plays in a small market, but it's like, bro, this guy is one of the top 5 to 10 players in the league that just won the MVP, but doesn't get the right reverence in the media. I mean, I've heard guys go on TV and say that Jokic wasn't even a top 10 player. And at points in time during his career, I just don't understand how you could watch him play and say stuff like that. Sure, right now, he may not be the best player in the NBA, but there's a very good chance that he could do that sooner rather than later, bruh. Because this is a guy that has all the talent offensively, and defensively this year he's stepping up. And I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, why am I mentioning the media and things like that? But the reason I'm doing that is because if we're really being honest, Jokic appeal to NBA fans is already there, because you watch him play. I think anybody who actually likes basketball can understand that Jokic is one of the best players in the league, very entertaining. But because the media portrays Jokic as if he's not on the level of guys like a Steph Curry, guys like a Giannis, a LeBron, a Kawhi, I feel like that top 5, maybe 6, is one of the most talented stacked top 5 to 6 players that we've ever seen. Nobody is clear head and shoulders above anybody else. And I believe Jokic is in that class. So I don't get how you can win an MVP and at least not be in the conversation. But before we go too far with this video, if you're not subscribed, press that subscribe button and that bell down below. You know, put me on post notifications. Your boy must be dropping bangers consistently on here. And also, don't forget to comment your opinions down below. Where do you rank Jokic in the NBA? That's the question of the day. And maybe I'll start a new series where I'll respond to some of these questions. So hey, maybe in my next video I'm gonna respond to some of you guys. Where do y'all rank Jokic in the league? That's the question of the day. Y'all let me know that down below in the comment section. But let's get back to the topic and let's talk about some Jokic basketball, because I have to say Nikola Jokic has to be one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my entire life. The guy can literally do it all offensively. He has some better handles than any other big that you're going to see in the league. There are a couple other guys and exceptions, but usually those are guys with guard-like abilities on the perimeter, and more so I'm talking about the KDs and Giannis's. But outside of those two, I don't think anybody handles the ball better at the 5 position other than Nikola Jokic, and that helps his ability as a playmaker. The guy legitimately can see the floor on a different level than anybody in the NBA. He sees ways to get the guy the ball 10 plays before they even happen. He can break you down in transition, he can break you down in the half court, he can break you down with high post action, he can break you down doing anything. And what's crazy is that you can't double him. That's what's so wild to me about Jokic. If you double him, he will always be able to find the open man, which is pretty problematic for any defense, because if you're doubling somebody and they're always finding somebody open and they're making their shot, it's like, well, what's the point of even doubling him? Like, honestly, what's the point of even trying to do it? Because this guy will do straight up no looks when he's double teamed, behind the backs, alley-oops. It's crazy Jokic's ability to play make out of any situation. One of the best passers in the league, and I would actually say he's the best playmaker and passer at the 5 position ever. I don't think there's ever been a center this good and this impactful as a playmaker. And when it comes to his scoring, the guy is elite in any way, shape, or form, especially at the 5 position. We all know he's a great shooter from behind the arc, mid-range. He can do it all. Get to the free throw line. He's one of the best shooters at his position. But even outside of his ability to shoot the ball and stretch the floor at the 5, he's also a really good post player. I would say an elite post player. Great footwork, can score in any way, shape, or form, and has one of the best signature moves that's probably going to go down as one of the best signature moves of all time when it's all said and done, the soundboard shuffle. You feel me? That move, one of the most unstoppable moves in the league. I've seen this guy hit that move from like hella far back and still swish the fuck out of the shot. it's crazy. Jokic for real offensively makes everything look easy. Like honestly, he makes it look like it's just second nature to him. But when it comes to being a great player, primarily a top 5 to 6 player in the NBA, you have to have more than just skill and talent, which Jokic obviously has. You have to have the ability to turn that talent into winning basketball consistently, because if you're not winning games and putting up great numbers, then it's kind of hard to gauge how great of a player you are because you're losing. But in the case of guys that are winning, we're seeing their game actually translate to wins, so we know they're actual winning players. And Jokic is one of those guys from the numbers perspective, or when you want to just look at the team's success. Jokic consistently carries the offense, and for some years they were one of the best offenses in the NBA. And for a team that doesn't have a second superstar or even a second all-star, only one all-star on that team, and that's Nikola Jokic, that's very impressive considering that we know he does a lot for the offense. The only people on that team that can consistently create their own shot is Jokic and Jamal Murray. And what's crazy is that Jamal Murray's been out and they were still one of the best offenses last year. But this year I have to say Jokic is just picking up where he left off in his MVP season, because this year he's averaging 25 points a game, 14 rebounds, 6 assists on a true shooting percentage of 66%. And considering the fact that there's no Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. until further notice, and the Nuggets are still winning games while being 8-4, 5th in the Western Conference, I gotta say it's a testament to how much Jokic can carry a team. And look, carrying is not gonna win you a championship, I'm a firm believer in that, but it's not like he has the best pieces to win a title. He's eventually gonna need to get a legit second guy on the perimeter, and I think that guy should be Jamal Murray, but obviously he's injured right now. But no worries, by the end of the season we'll have the answer to those questions about him and Jamal Murray, if they can win it all. And if it's not this year, because Murray is coming back from an injury, next year I think will be a huge decision maker for the direction of this team, because I assume everybody is going to be healthy, including Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, everybody. So I really want to see what this team is going to look like next year. But as it pertains to this team this year, Jokic has led them to overachieve yet again. Now I think that usually the reason why a lot of people are just hesitant to say that Jokic is not in the top 5, one of them is defense, because if we're really being honest, his defense is not up to par as far as even guys that are not in the top 5, and the person I'm referring to is Joel Embiid, because Joel Embiid, I have to say his defense is one of the best in the league, and Jokic, you know, he's been kind of a subpar defender for a good part of his career. But I have to say this year, he's actually been really good defensively. When it comes to guarding players on the perimeter on switches, it's not like teams don't attack him and sometimes get the better of them, but he does a really good job of moving his feet. He can stay in front of them far better. He can close out better. His rotations have been solid. He's protecting the rim as well, really good. And he also has quick hands because it lets him get steals. He anticipates passing lanes really well. His IQ on the defensive side of the ball is really high. If you've been watching the tape, you know how good he's been defensively, but hell, let's just look at the numbers. When he is on the court, the Nuggets have a defensive rating of 96. When he's off the court, their defensive rating shoots up to 111.6. That is a plus 15 difference when he is off the court. And the Nuggets as a whole defensively have gained a lot just from Jokic stepping up on that side of the ball this year, better than some years past, because the Nuggets have been one of the 3 best defensive teams in all of basketball. They're first in opponents' points per game and they're second in defensive rating. And a lot of that starts with Nikola Jokic rim protection at the 5 position, because I'm a firm believer that rim protection is the most important aspect on the defensive side of the ball, and Jokic this year as a 5 and as a rim protector has lived up to his side of the bargain. So I say all the things that I said in this video to come to this conclusion. Why is it that when Nikola Jokic is brought up in the top 5 discussion, so many of you guys think it's blasphemous to say he's better than your favorite players? Yes, KD is the better scorer between both of them, but Jokic is still an elite scorer and an elite playmaker. If you value what playmaking can do for a team offensively, then you should understand the argument for Jokic over KD. And defensively, they've both been really good this year. If you think that Steph is a better player because of his offensive capabilities, then you can understand people saying Jokic is better than Steph because defensively he's been really good, Steph has been as well, but offensively they're both one of the best offensive players of all time. So it really isn't blasphemy, it's just preference at that point. And when you look at a guy like LeBron, he's been fairly injury prone. Jokic last year, the reason he won MVP over guys like LeBron and Embiid was because of his health and his durability. And that idea applies to a Kawhi Leonard because yes, you could say Kawhi is better than Jokic if you want to talk about who's the better player, but Kawhi's injury history is a big reason why I say the same thing, that Jokic could be better. And I'm not trying to make this all about you have to be injured for him to qualify, but I'm just saying that when you're talking about who's the better player, availability should come into play at a certain point. And Jokic's talent is still up to par with a lot of these guys, don't get it twisted. Now as far as Giannis is concerned, I believe Giannis is better primarily because he's elite on defense while being elite on offense, and yeah, that's really tough to beat, honestly. But I conclude this video and I throw it off to you guys. Like I said earlier, the question of the day is, where do you rank Nikola Jokic in the NBA? Top 5, top 10? Do you have him at number 3? Do you have him at number 7? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. The links are down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.